This week on the podcast, we're talking about tabletop role-playing games. Welcome to the Grizzled Geek. I'm Mike.
I'm Kirsten.
I'm Doug.
And we're the podcast where we discuss all things nerdy and geeky. And this week we're going to discuss role-playing games.
The geekiest
The
subject.
geekiest of the subjects. The thing that got you ostracized when I was a kid. Nowadays it's like pretty popular. But when I was a kid,
I don't know if I go that far.
well, true. You're not the cool kid for playing D&D at
But
school.
at least you don't get beat up.
But you don't get beat up for it anymore.
Yeah.
So there's that. All right, yeah, we're going to talk about this. We all of us here on the panel play role-playing games. We all play in the same game, some of them.
Yep.
Yep.
So let's talk about the big one. Straight off the bat, D&D. We did a whole podcast on
Did a whole
D&D
one,
before, explaining all the different D&D. But this, we play 5th edition because we're not animals.
Yeah.
We
Plain and simple.
Here's the thing: is this may be heretical or whatever. It's the best.
It is.
It is the best
the best.
edition.
3.5 is a little more expansive, but I think that 5th edition just makes it streamlined, easier, quicker,
Yeah.
more enjoyable.
The level of detail that you can get in 3.5 does not outweigh the complication
I agree.
involved
Yeah.
in getting it compared to 5th edition.
Yeah.
I agree.
3.5 is fun to play up to around 12th level, right? And then after that, it kind of breaks down.
Yeah.
You know, it starts breaking down. By 15th level, there are clearly more powerful characters than others.
Do you ever
Right.
play that far?
We played all the way into epic level.
I would love to finish a game up to there.
It's,
Yeah, we're old and crusty, and we finished camp. We had a campaign last 5 years.
That's amazing.
yeah, that was it finished in 3.5. It didn't start in 3.5.
Right? Yeah, we had a campaign that lasted through 2 editions. So
Well,
That's awesome.
2.5 editions.
2.5 editions.
Because it started with 2nd, went to. Did Skills and Powers come before 3?
Skills and Powers came before 3. Yeah.
Yeah, Skills and Powers, then 3, then 3.5 when it finished up. So yeah, it went.
So
for
we
a long
finished.
time.
Yeah, started as 2nd edition DD, finished at 3.5. Went through all the skills and powers. I mean, they had to remake characters several times. Like,
Yeah.
what trying to convert it over.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had a big long campaign, so that one lasted forever. But yeah, we play in a D&D game. Actually, we don't. You play in a 13th age game.
Yeah.
I have another D&D game that I'm running.
Right.
5th edition. It is the best of the editions, right? Although I do have fond memories of 2nd edition. What was the earliest edition of D&D you ever played, Kirsten?
3.5. I
3.5?
never tried anything else.
Okay. So yeah, it was 2nd edition was it was wild. It was. I mean, it was like a. You know,
I mean, it was primarily combat based.
Yeah.
There were skills, but not really.
yeah. Skills.
yeah.
Why pick a lock when you could beat down the door?
Yeah. Essentially.
And get the barbarian up here to beat the door down.
Right.
Yeah, no, it was fun. It was a THACO, so you don't even know what THACO is. It's one of those terms. Cephtoid and THACO. These are old school D&D terms. You had to be a grizzled gamer to know what those are. THACO is 2 hit armor class 0. Because everything was based. You had a THACO score.
Okay.
And that was what you had to roll to hit armor class 0. Then you modified everything. A lot of math involved in 2nd edition.
Right.
And Cephtoid was, or was it? What was the Cephtoid? It was
60 feet trails off in
60
darkness.
feet trailed off in the darkness.
Oh,
So
okay.
you could see 60 feet in the darkness. So if you look down a hallway, you could see, and it
Right.
went for 60 feet, and there was nothing.
Gotcha.
Cephtoid. Yes.
That was a hall that was dark at the end of the
We're
hall.
exposing a level of nerd that
Yes.
we haven't yet. Yeah, we are that kind of. We were those kind of nerds. We were popular in high school. All right. So when did you get into role playing, Kirsten?
So I got into role playing not really knowing that I was doing the thing. Like, I had a bunch of friends that we were obsessed with Naruto, and so we did. Well, back up. I used to do RPing, which is write, writing-based role-playing with
Yeah.
other people online. So used to do that. Got introduced to some friends that were obsessed with Naruto. We were doing like some RPing text-based. And we were like, wouldn't it be cool if we just like did this, but in IRL? Like I pretended like I was my character, and you pretended like you were your character. And so, thus started us doing our first LARPing of Naruto.
Nice.
Which was interesting.
So you jumped right into LARPing. Nice.
Right off the get-go. It was as cringy as you think it was.
Nice.
So that was probably my first actual experience, but like not knowing that that's what I was actually doing. I'm just more like, I knew D&D was a thing, but I guess I just never equated that to the same thing as what I was doing.
Right.
Oh, right.
It is its own thing, but
Right, yeah, but it's
I
still
never
role playing.
heard of LARPing.
Yeah, LARPing was. See, LARPing was a thing. When it came out, obviously the old.
Well, and here's the funny: we were having before we started filming, we were talking about Vampire the Masquerade.
Yes.
That was the first thing that I was aware of people LARPing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
At conventions when they would have live LARPing events
Oh,
at conventions. So
Yeah. Every time I went to a
It
game
was, always,
event.
cool.
it was
I wanna do
Vampire.
that.
Yeah.
So like in between, at night or whatever, there were like, it was over 24 hours gaming
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
And people like coming up to you and saying like passwords and phrases, or like flashing
Yeah.
hand symbols that I don't know what they meant. We're like, not part of it, buddy. I don't know what's going on.
That's so cool.
So we used to make fun of LARPers all the time. I remember when it first came out, we saw that video everyone's seen with the lightning bolt,
Yeah.
the fat guy in the woods throwing the balls, lightning bolt. And we used to make fun of him, like, oh my god, can you believe this? But yet at the same time, we were dressing up and doing these mystery dinner theater things. We did like a Star,
that's cool.
we did like a Star Trek one when we dressed up
Yeah.
like Star Trek characters. When I was with Games Workshop, we did like a superhero one. We all dressed up like superheroes,
Yeah.
and it was like the murder mystery nights. We
Yeah.
had dinner, and so we did all that all the time,
That's cool.
and still making fun of LARPers,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but at least we're not LARPers.
At least we're not LARPers. Hey, wait a minute. I guess we kind of are. Oh
I only
man.
did that once.
Yeah. But you dressed up like Data.
I did
You
dress up
painted
like
his
Data,
face
painted
up
my
with
face
Oh,
and
that's
everything.
cool.
He even had like the Starfleet uniform.
Yeah.
Like you just had like a
Yellow
Data
Starfleet.
uniform just hanging out in the
Hey,
closet.
if you're gonna go, you might as well go all out.
He says that, but it was his data uniform I was wearing.
That is true.
I
Yes.
didn't have one.
I did. I dressed up like Worf and the forehead. Yeah, it was. Yeah, we painted our faces and role played Star Trek characters.
Yeah.
We did that. So yeah, we LARPed. We just didn't know realized it was LARPing and made fun of LARPers for what they were doing, and we were doing the same thing. But all right, yeah, Vampire the Masquerade. That was like the first time I've heard of people LARPing, and they had. I think they ones that started the whole system with like the hand signals, what meant what, and then. When they did like opposing powers, I guess they did like rock, paper, scissors or something like that,
Okay.
Anyway, they had this whole thing. But because it's not a combat-based game like D&D,
Yeah.
it's more of a role-playing based game, they could do the live action and fit better with that,
Right.
because it was all intrigue and,
Right.
doing that
Didn't
kind
they
of thing.
do this for Obfuscate?
No, it was like this or something
Oh,
like that.
okay. Obfuscate.
Someone did it, like, there was the goth girl in the Ghost Rider movie, did the obfuscate move. She did that when she like the cameras were looking at her and she got like nervous. The cameras, she like obfuscated. And we're like, if you were a live action, if you were a LARPer, vampire LARPer, you recognize what that was. You're like, oh my god, she's obfuscating, and she was all dressed gothic, But yeah, so the yeah, there was LARPing. That stuff that existed. I miss those gaming conventions,
Yeah.
And but yeah,
That's a bummer.
you'd love that because it was like that's what they do. They go through it. Like they'd have the whole area, the whole hotel or wherever they were doing the convention at was all open area. So you
Yeah.
had to go talk to people and collect clues and all this stuff like that. So yeah. But we actually did participate in one of those one time. It wasn't actually a full LARPing, but it was a scavenger hunt clue based game like that. Were you there?
I don't remember.
It was at a Leprechaun in Scottsdale.
I went to that.
Yeah, so you were
I
there.
don't
I thought.
remember.
Yeah, but
a
it was
scavenger
like
hunt,
it was
but-
after hours we did it. But yeah, they looked for clues and stuff like that. But I barely remember that stuff. But I drank a lot back then, so. But yeah, so that was fun. We're traditional. We played role playing games since we were kids, right? I got introduced to it in I think I mentioned Cub Scouts. Or someone you were in
haven't done that
in
one.
high school.
Yeah. Our friend Josh introduced me with Middle Earth role playing.
Middle Earth.
Oh, cool. Very
So
cool.
that was the first time I had played any kind of role-playing game is he introduced me to Middle-earth role-playing. And then there was the super complicated Rollmaster.
Oh my god.
Didn't really ever play that because nobody wanted to get that involved because it was like a book full of charts.
It was
Like,
Chart
all right,
Master.
Uh-oh.
It was like
you roll these dice. Okay, what kind of weapon do you have? Okay.
what kind of armor do I have? Use this chart
you
over here.
cross-reference things
Yeah.
on these giant
I
tables.
think you got hit.
It was,
Yeah.
it was
No,
really
no, no, I
complicated.
didn't get hit. Look,
Yeah.
you were off by 2.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad. And we played. Or said this last podcast or the last time we did this. We played Marvel Superheroes role playing game, advanced Marvel Superhero role playing game.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where I went in to buy the red box for D&D because I got introduced in Cub Scouts to D&D. I'm like, I liked it. I'm like, the whole concept of role playing was awesome.
Yeah.
And I went into it was KB Toys at the time, back when they had KB Toys, and they actually had a role playing section. And the role playing boxes were in boxes with the dice and everything in it. And like I saw the red box, I picked it up. Oh, D&D box! I saved up. I got the money. I'm gonna go buy this. And right next to it was Marvel Superheroes Advanced Role Playing Game. And I'm like, they have this for superheroes for Marvel? And I was like huge into Marvel comics,
Right.
collected comics, and I'm like, so I put the D&D back and grabbed the Marvel one. And yeah, we played that for forever.
Yeah.
And I
We had
guess
a long-running campaign where we actually made ourselves as superheroes.
yeah.
Oh, that's
Totally,
cool.
yeah. We did. Oh man, so nerdy. We played that for quite
if
a while.
I were going to be a superhero, I would want blah blah blah
Right.
blah.
Yeah. And so yeah, we
That's
did.
so cool.
We had a big campaign world that superheroes, and that was a fun game. All right. So what other games have you played besides D&D? Was it just D&D from Naruto, LARPing to D&D?
Yeah. So I did Naruto. I got introduced to Pathfinder. I played a couple games. Like some friends were playing the game, and I was interested. So I sat in and created a character with a lot of help from someone because I didn't know what I was doing. I just remember us like going down a hallway and investigating something and being like, so what do I do?
There's so much information on this character sheet.
Yes.
What do I?
So I played a couple games in high school, but no one was really interested in actually reading any of the D&D books. It was more of like they had a role-playing game. They kind of based it off of a few charts that they made, and then we just kind of played off of the stories that they were doing. So it wasn't until college that I actually met people that were playing 3.5. And then from there, I've pretty much played 3.5 until I met you guys, and now there's a whole new world.
Yeah,
So did you never do 4th edition?
Nope.
3.5 straight to 5th?
Yep.
Or in the 13th age, so it's a game where you're in and on.
Even when I was playing 3.5, I think 4 was out, but everyone hated it. So everyone would either suggest we play Pathfinder or 3.5, and I hadn't read up on or had any experience in Pathfinder that I like actually knew what I was doing. So everyone just defaulted to 3.5, and that's pretty much been every role-playing game I've had up until 5th edition came out, and
Right.
then now everyone's 5, which understandable.
Yeah.
Well, 5 is like so much. Like you said, it was an easier point of entry, right?
Yeah.
Like you look at 3rd edition, 3.5, which is basically Pathfinder, right? And there's so much detail. I mean, it was like it's for like advanced players, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to know. There's so much stuff to keep track of.
Right.
D&D 5th edition is so streamlined, is a great point of entry, which is why it's getting a resurgence of players nowadays.
Right.
People are getting more into it because it's a lot easier for people to come in, a lot easier
Yeah.
for new game masters to play. 4th edition D&D, we played 4th edition D&D because that's, was a new edition that came out.
Right.
But it was easy for a game master to run in that game because it was all super balanced,
Okay.
right? So there was never, players couldn't bring stuff out of left field, right?
Right.
And they're,
Yeah, because that's the hardest thing about 3.5 is
Yeah.
from the game master's perspective, your characters are so super customizable that you don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
From,
Right.
there can be widely varying things that can go on, and you're like,
Right.
crap, what do I
now, yeah, if you're experienced, you know how to handle that. You can actually pull back on monsters.
Yeah.
You can cut hit points, or you can add hit points, or special abilities as you go
Yeah.
on the fly. If you're if you can do that, but for most people that are just like pulling stuff out of the game, it's out of the book.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're going to wipe out a party, or you're gonna
Right.
are they gonna blow through your monsters?
Right.
So, but 4th edition was super balanced, and they had like a an encounter chart or whatever that was right on point. It was perfect, right?
Nice.
The only problem is there wasn't. It was all very because it was so balanced. It all felt kind of the same.
Yeah.
Like all the classes felt kind of the same. They all had these powers, right? It was like
Well, and it is an MMO
Yeah.
as a role-playing game.
Yep.
So you have your
Tanks,
tank that does tanky things.
your
You have your
DPS,
DPS that does DPS-y things, and healer who heals.
Yeah.
these are the guys who use damage. These are the guys who tank. These are the guys who heal. You know.
That was the most varied class. Those that were, they called them leaders,
yeah.
because they could be buffers, debuffers, or buffers or healers, or a little of each.
Right.
You know, so that varied a lot, but the others didn't so much.
Yeah, they were all pretty much. They were just reskin powers. You know, they all did basically the same thing. They do basically the same die damage, basically the same.
Yeah.
You know, so each class they were just done differently. Like, oh, if you're a druid, it had involved plants and animals.
Right.
You know, if you're a mage, the same power involved magic or whatever. You know, it just was skinned differently.
Yeah. You
So-
know, having you talk about that, I've gotten that feeling out of 5th edition too, though.
Mhm.
Like, as much as it's fun and streamlined, I miss being able to detail, like, 3.5 was so detailed that, like, you could easily throw in homebrew and play whatever you wanted to play. Like, you wanted to play someone who controls sand, okay, well, we'll do a variation on mage that has sand-specific powers and so on and so forth.
Yeah, we normally if you noticed in our games we have homebrew rules all the time, and that came out of playing first and second editions because, like Doug said, there was stuff that wasn't in there. Right? There wasn't like skills or something like that. You know, you had to. So we made up a bunch of stuff for certain things that came up in the game, right? And then it evolved through the different editions and stuff like that. And so eventually now we have I have my own critical hit system that I use. I just bring it over, make new charts for each new game, for whatever new abilities or whatever conditions they have. And then, you know, my own fumble stuff. And there's all homebrew rules, stuff that I come over.
Yeah.
I always do that. And that, just like I said, that came out of a necessity of needing it for the early editions.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's... Yeah, I see where you're coming from with 5th edition, like where it kind of has that. Not quite as bad as 4th. 4th was straight up.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, when I say reskin powers, I mean same die damage, same, you know, action and everything else. It was the exact same power. Just descriptor was different.
Yeah.
But yeah, in 5th edition, I think, especially, you know, in lower levels, I can see that. I think you're going to get a wider range of options when you get in the teen levels.
Yeah.
You know, from what I'm looking at here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. It is, you know, you get, that's the drawback you get with a streamlined edition.
Yeah.
You know, let's talk about the other game we're playing. We are in a 13th Age game, and 13th Age came out. They're made by people that worked on D&D 3.5 and 4th edition D&D. They made 13th Age 5 years ago, something like that.
I'm not sure. It's relatively recent, within the last 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, and then it's a unique game in that it's basically D&D.
Yeah.
It's got all the D&D monsters and tropes and everything like that, but it's only got 10 levels, so everything's kind of compressed, and everything starts off vastly more powerful.
Yeah, I mean, here's my opinions on 13th Age is the setting is really interesting.
Yeah.
It's a really cool setting.
Yeah.
It's got some unique role-playing aspects, like the one unique thing, and you know, things like that. But its combat system feels too much like a stripped-down version of 4th edition. Like, I'm playing a rogue, and you essentially you get new powers at 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9.
Yeah.
So that's when those are the levels at which your powers switch or can switch. And there's a decreasing return. Like at first level, there's a lot of options. Third level, there's fewer. Fifth level, there's fewer than that. And then 7 and 9, there's only 2 choices. And it really feels like, unless you're going for a very specific build, you're going to keep the choices you made at first and third level.
Yeah.
There's only there's only like specific builds you're going to do that you're going to switch those powers out.
Yeah.
So it feels like there's no difference. There's no change.
Right.
I mean, when you think about like 5th edition, you're essentially, you know, like I attack.
Right.
You know, I've got this weapon, I attack. There's no, oh, I make this kind of, I do this shortcut or I do this thing. However, there's more abilities that your class has that might do that kind of thing that you don't have. So as far as the execution of the system goes, I'm not as into it as I am in 5th edition.
Yeah.
So I like the role-playing aspects. They're way better. Or they've got some really cool things. But as far as the mechanics systems go, I'm just like, meh.
Yeah. What about you? What do you think about 13th Age?
I love the concept. The biggest pull for me was when you had kind of explained how like everything is based on your background. So if you can justify how your background involves whatever kind of skill check, then you can do it, which is exactly how you would imagine role-playing should go.
Yes.
Like if you got raised up in a church, there's no reason why you would know how to pick locks. Like,
Right, yeah.
Right.
But if you wanted to in D&D, well, I'll just, you know, it was one of my side projects. I like picking locks and whatnot.
Like stealing the communal wine when they weren't looking.
So I really, really love that concept. I think that there are some classes that are better balanced than others, and a little more enjoyable than others. Like Paladin so far has been really boring. I don't get a whole lot. I've gotten health and skill point, or not even skill point change. I've gotten health. That's basically it. But I have noticed that the higher I go, the more I have access to, and the more the stronger that I get. It's just that when you're playing a long game and something that goes up to level 10, not often is it that you actually finish a game of D&D or whatever. You move on to the next thing because you've completed your task by level 6, and so you can't get up to the point where you get useful.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and here it feels like you either have to slow down progression so much that you might as well not.
Yeah.
You just have a story that's going on, and this is your character, and he's that way the whole time. Or you're going to get to 10, and again, stop progressing way before the story is over.
Yeah.
One of the two.
The thing with 13th Age is like you have one story arc, like where in D&D you would have a major story arc for, you know, each different, or each tier, right? You have one major story arc when you're low level, medium level, and high level.
Yeah.
In 13th Age, you get one. You get one story arc because the time you finish this story arc, you've maxed out, right? So, I mean, if you want to keep normal progression, right, and it doesn't take like you don't level as fast as you would normally in D&D, but yeah, you guys are on a story arc, and when that story is done being told, you guys will be 10th level probably, close to, if not.
Which feels artificially limiting.
Yeah,
because it doesn't allow for B and C stories.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to be able to invest a lot of time into your personal background stuff. Like if you have, which seems too counterintuitive because you've got that one unique thing that could be a story in and of itself. But you're never going to have time to really. You got to
incorporate all that. It's a little bit more difficult for game masters because you got to incorporate all that into the main storyline.
Yeah.
And you got to incorporate in your icon relationships in the main storyline.
And you have to do that for 4 to 6 players.
And you got to do that for 4 to 6 players. Yeah. So it's a little more challenging that way as a game master. What I find my issue with 13 Days, and like I said, again, let me parrot this. I like the backgrounds. I like the world, like the idea of the 13th icons and stuff like that.
Icons,
I really like that idea, and it's what drew me to it is the description of this. I'm like, I got to try this out. My problem is in combat, it's very old school, like back in 2nd edition before they had miniatures and grids and stuff like that. It was always there's no ranges. It's near, far, or engaged, right? Near, far, or engaged, and you move between those. So I miss having miniatures and maps, and and I build my own terrain and tiles and stuff like that. So I always have a big elaborate set for the D&D game, and then when I go over to 13th Age, you don't really need that. And in fact, it's kind of a hindrance because when we do put miniatures out, when I want to explain what stuff is going on, we tend to fall back into the old tropes of I only go 6 squares.
Right.
I can only do you limit yourself based on the way you know
You
normally
played
do.
any other-
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of the openness of
I guess
the
we
way it's
did do that
designed.
last game,
We
didn't
did,
we?
yeah. We're like, I move up 6 squares.
1, 2,
Yeah.
3, 4. Okay, I can't get there.
I can't make it. You know, yeah. So it's kind of we self-impose limitations on that stuff, and it just the combat system for 13th Age is made to be dynamic, right? So you don't have all those, you know, you're not all the rules. It's made to go quick.
Yeah.
You got an escalation die to speed things along. You guys do
Right.
your level
Oh, I
and
love that too. I
dice
love
and
the
damage.
escalation.
Yeah,
Because there are some battles in D&D that go on so long.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus, can we please move on?
there was a dragon fight that lasted all night and then into the next day. At one time, it was a 3.5, right?
Oh yeah, we've had those
Oh, my God.
day long dragon fights.
It was ridiculous.
That's absurd.
Instead of yeah. All right, we're gonna break for
I
a
mean, they
little.
were fun,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they were ridiculous.
epic. Epic is the word you're looking for. But yeah, all right. So 13th Age.
Or
it's
there
a
were
fun
ones
system.
that took like one round.
There were.
Oh.
There were ones that took one.
So pissed off about that. Chris and I killed a dragon in one round. The dragon didn't even get to go, so Mike had to
They
let
got
it
to
breathe
They
before,
breathe.
before he let it die.
Aw.
Physics works different in the nodes. Oh, so pissed. All right. Anyway, moving on to the. But yeah, so 13th Age wrap up. It's a fun game. It's made to be dynamic and more in your head, like
Yeah.
verbal storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
And the combats are meant to be quick and you know to
They're
progress
not-
the story, not to be what the focus of the game.
Right. That's you have to be careful who you're playing with because it is not primarily combat oriented.
It's not a hack and slash
It's
game.
a storytelling game. So
So if you're playing with somebody who's all about the combat and the next kick in the door, fight the monster, get the treasure,
Right.
it's not that type of game.
Right.
yeah.
All right, so that's 13th Age. What else? So you're pretty much
Yeah, just D&D, 13th Age, and
the
occasional LARPing.
occasional LARPing.
We played it.
We
We played Star Wars, or we played Marvel. We pointed that out. We
Yeah.
played a Star Wars game. Played several Star Wars games
Yeah.
in
all
several
the different versions. Yeah.
versions,
All the way from the West End, the old school West End D6 system, all the way up to the
Saga rules.
Saga rules. We haven't played the new.
No, what little I heard about it when it was coming out, I wasn't interested because the first book that came out only let you play kind of like martial characters. You could play a smuggler or a soldier.
Yeah.
That was it. There was no Jedi or anything like
I
that.
don't like a game that makes me use special dice.
Well, I don't mind that part, but I don't like the idea of slowly rolling out the classes. We're like, well, I'm not going to play the game then until they're all available and I can make a
I want
choice.
to play Jedi.
Because I have only once played a Jedi in a.
I was gonna say
I normally play a smuggler. That's my favorite type of character to play. But I did play a Jedi in the Saga one. Like a hardcore, like goody Jedi.
I don't play Star Wars unless I get to swing a lightsaber.
Yeah,
I don't care what form that is. As long as I have a lightsaber, that's all that matters.
yeah,
That's why I play Star Wars. Why else? Why would you?
yeah. Otherwise, might as well play whatever.
Yeah, play
sci-fi
whatever.
game.
I'm good.
Yeah.
What differentiates this is a lightsaber. I don't care if I'm not any good with the Force. I'm really a lightsaber to swing. That's all I need. Yeah. So we played out of the main ones. We played pretty much all the different fantasy ones. We played Dungeon Crawl Classics.
They weren't always good.
They weren't always good. I mean, yeah,
GURPS back in the day.
We played GURPS back in the day. We played James Bond. It was like
Interesting.
we
Ninjas
played
and Super Spies.
Ninjas and Super Spies. We played all the we have Beyond the Supernatural and all the
That's
Palladium.
one you'd probably like. Beyond the
Beyond
Supernatural.
the Supernatural. Oh yeah.
It's a Palladium game, so the system's not great.
Yeah,
But the setting is fun. You're playing like people, Ghostbusters, or
Oh, okay,
cool. Yeah.
investigating the paranormal.
yeah.
Isn't there one that's based off of Lovecraft? Like,
Hmm. Oh yeah, there's several. There's Cthulhu.
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Uh,
Call of Cthulhu.
Call it, yeah.
I mean,
that's it.
there's several different versions of that. There's a modern one out there. I played that. I played when I lived in Memphis. I played a game, and they wanted it period, right? So I had to go. I had to research 1930s Memphis, Tennessee, right? Because they wanted to play in Memphis.
Right.
In this, luckily there's a lot of lore with the
Yeah.
Mississippi in that
Yeah.
area and stuff like
Sure.
that, you know.
Sure.
But I had to go like, you know,
That's
where
so cool.
I had to research, you know, when certain things open and when they were, right? So there's at a time period. That was the most work in just researching what was it like in the 1930s Mississippi, you know, area.
Had to, quote unquote.
I had, well,
You just happen to be a really awesome DM.
I just had to, I had to get that stuff figured out because I'm like, we want a period piece.
Right.
I don't want to say like, oh, you go to local Piggly Wiggly. Oh, they weren't open in the 1940s.
This is a different dimension.
Yeah, it's
Where
never
they
mentioned.
opened 10
They
years
opened 10 years earlier. Suck it. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, we played that. We played. There's even like we're talking about the Beyond the Supernatural. There's a victims game where basically you play yourself or normal human, right? And then you got to survive like a supernatural. So it's your
I love
chance.
that.
It's your chance to like fix anything in a horror movie.
Yeah.
Like, all the stupid stuff they do in
That's
horror movies,
awesome.
where you could actually just do the right thing. You know?
And you have to be honest with yourself, like placing your stats.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
You're like, I've got an 18 intelligence.
Yeah. I even bought. We haven't played it yet, but I got the End of the World series of games, where like there's like the first one came out. It was zombie invasion or zombie apocalypse. Then there's alien invasion, and all these where you play a normal human. Where you play yourself.
I love horror campaigns.
Oh
like
yeah,
that. I love it.
It was.
Oh.
We might do something like that, like a one-off kind of thing like that. Like
Yeah.
the victims game, we used to do a one-off every once in a while, like we do Paranoia.
Yeah.
Paranoia. There's another one we played.
Yeah.
We all recently got together.
Oh, I guess I did play.
Yeah,
that
we
as
introduced
well,
you to Paranoia. So.
that one was really fun.
Yeah, Paranoia is always fun.
And it's not a campaign based. It's a one night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is
It's
a
a
one night,
one-night
you know,
thing.
pre-made characters. This is the
How
story.
I love it.
Who
Yeah.
has the most clones left at the end of the night?
Yeah. While I do love a good campaign in a role-playing game, I do like the one-off sessions like Paranoia, like the Victims,
Yeah.
you know, Supernatural. I like those. It's a one night. Instead of a board game, it's a one night role-playing game.
Yeah.
You know, and you tell a story in that night, and it's fun. I really like it.
Yeah.
Or in Paranoia's case, you kind of tell a story. You have an outline of a story, and then let the players cause the chaos that happens.
When we all played together. That was the furthest I'd ever see a Paranoia game get.
Really?
Yeah.
They actually wrapped up not because we ran out of time or because somebody died, lost all their clones.
Right.
The
They
story actually finished.
They made it through the mission briefing or the debriefing.
And epically.
Yeah, epically. Yeah, there was some explosions there at the end. But yeah, no, Paranoia is great. I could looking back. We can't name all the ones because every stupid little. Back in the day, there was all these. Everybody came out with their own role playing game. There was like remember the Berserker role playing game that was. Oh man, it was so bad. It was like there's little like cardboard boxes, right? And it had like just these look like photocopied sheets in there, and those generic dice. They had like a ton of those different types of games.
What was that one based on?
Berserker one was based on the Saberhaven books.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so yeah,
I only read half of that first book.
yeah, true.
This is
This is weird.
Not great.
We also played. We did Lord of the Rings role playing game.
Yeah.
But man, what was that game? We played all the Platinum games, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and all those. Those games.
Those
We
are
played,
usually. We say we played all of these. A lot of them were like 2 or 3 sessions.
yeah.
Did you actually buy the game, like the book for it, or did you just like look up the rules?
Or
of
we
it?
knew somebody who had it,
Yeah.
or something like
Yeah,
that.
That's
we
cool.
bought quite. I spent way more money than I should have on stupid role playing games.
Yeah.
I got Toon for my 18th birthday. You remember that?
Yeah.
I have a video of us playing Toon
Yeah.
in John's garage on my 18th birthday.
That's
Toon was
awesome.
fun. Yeah, I mean,
It was-
it's a lot like playing Paranoia, except
Yeah,
you're playing cartoons.
Playing a
Okay.
cartoon, yeah.
And you're dropping anvils on people's heads.
That's
and
fun.
Yeah, they have like instant mail, so you can send away for Acme stuff if you need to. You find a mailbox, you can instantly get stuff.
Right.
You know, all the different cartoon tropes. It was a great game. We did
It's pretty fun.
man, tons of role playing games. I mean, what were some of your favorites, Doug? What did you like? We did obviously Vampire the Masquerade. We played that and the werewolf version, and the mage, the Ascension,
Yeah.
the ghost, mummy, hunters. I think the only one we didn't play was Changeling.
No, non-fantasy wise, I think my favorite Marvel, our Marvel campaign was probably my
Yeah.
favorite of those, and the Star Wars campaigns were really good. and Beyond the Supernatural, I think I really like the Beyond the Supernatural game.
Yeah.
Those three stand out. Like I can remember distinct things from those, or what my character was.
Right.
I mean, I still use, like, I play Star Wars: The Old Republic video game, and I use my main character is my Star Wars role-playing character,
Right.
Drake Shelby.
Yeah, Drake Shelby. Yeah.
Drake Shelby the Smuggler.
Yeah, I used all of my characters in all these other video games versions, and then we played Star Trek role playing game. Remember that?
Yeah, we did.
The USS Yorktown.
Yep.
We had our whole crew.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, we got into it. We had like background bios of all the main bridge crew.
Yeah.
For it was ridiculous. We got into it. Man, we're giant nerds.
Hence this channel.
Yeah, but back in the day, used to have like just reams of graph paper full of maps. They had like folders full of maps. We did this. We got hit early on, and back in the day, like you were saying, we had to either buy the game or have someone borrow the game because we didn't have internet, so we didn't have.
Right.
We couldn't just download a game. Nowadays, they're like,
Well, you like photocopy, like.
yeah, no, we.
Get a PDF of something or anything. You couldn't do that back then.
Yeah, back in the day, we couldn't nowadays, like, I wonder if this game's any good. Let me check it out, download a copy online before you buy it.
Or they usually have like a sample.
Or they have a sample, yeah.
market,
Right.
like
You
a,
can check it out. Before we had a box, like, the box art looks cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
The concept sounds cool and the box art looks
Yeah.
cool. So,
yeah,
all right, I'll
let's
try
check it out. Like, oh, this thing is horrible.
Yeah.
It's kind of like renting movies back in the day. All you had was a description on the box and the
Right.
cover photo.
Well, let's hope this is crap.
Barbarians, it sounded so good. But
Well, and a lot of them suffer from the same thing. Like all the Palladium games,
yeah,
the system was super simple, I guess, but the settings were awesome.
the settings were awesome. Yeah,
Generally,
they had a
it was
very
set-
simplistic base game, and then
and you didn't really change as you leveled or anything like
Yeah.
that. You just were who you were, and it was just you just progressed the story. And
yeah.
very little
once,
progression.
Every once in a while, you're like, oh, I got a % increase in my chance of doing this thing.
Right.
Yeah,
But you already started at like an 80% chance to do it anyways.
Right.
So,
Right.
when you went up, you're like, oh, okay.
I
This
think
didn't really do anything.
my favorite out of all these, I mean, obviously D&D's got to be my favorite, right? I've been playing it for years, but Marvel will also hold a special place in my heart because it was the first one I owned, the first one I actually ran a game of. It was when I wanted to play it. I bought it, brought it home. I'm like, someone play this with me, and I was like, yeah, I'll play it, and but no one knew how to run anything.
Yeah.
So I had to teach myself how to run a game,
Uh-huh.
and that was the first one I did. And so I ran Marvel,
Yeah.
and it's still, man, still
Played that
fun.
all through high school and into college and stuff.
I found my books. I have a trunk with my books for Marvel books in there. None of them are together anymore. There's no spines in together. They're all kind of stacks of papers that used to be a player's handbook. We've got laminated charts for the the powers chart and everything. But we played the hell out of that game. But yeah, that is pretty much our role-playing experience. Is there anything that you're interested in doing or that you haven't played yet that you like, sounds interesting or...
Well, you said Beyond the Supernatural.
Mhm.
That one sounds cool. I love like anything like otherworldly.
Yeah.
So like Cthulhu, horror, anything like that. I love that sort of stuff. So
Nice.
Vampires the Masquerade, any of that, I'm down.
Vampire the Masquerade, we got sucked in deep on that one early, in the 90s.
Yeah.
The whole goth
Yeah.
area.
It's again, you have to be into the story because the system's not great.
Sure.
It's not
There's
that's
a
not
lot,
what
there's a
it's
lot of
about.
them, but the system isn't great. Now that we've seen good systems,
It's
you can go back and look at it and go like, okay, that wasn't a great system
Right.
or not. But
the setting,
if the setting's
lore,
good enough,
Yeah.
and it was that one, Beyond the the Palladium games, the setting outweighs the the problems
Right, yeah.
with it. I mean, but you just play GURPS, rules in that setting.
Yeah. So
But yeah, I mean that was, it was great. Vampire the Masquerade. That is something I actually do miss. That it was weird. It felt like weird. As I was talking about earlier, like our friend Davina in high school,
Yeah.
she was like big into Vampire the Masquerade. That's where we played that all the time. So that kind of got me into it, and then went from there. All the different World of Darkness. Do they even make World of Darkness stuff anymore?
I don't know.
Man,
I think I've seen it in Darren's store, but I don't
know how old it is.
For sure. No idea.
Yeah, but it was fun. There's a lot of stuff that I tried. Was it Fate? Is the one without dice? The Fate system?
Sure.
Is that you don't know?
The idea of diceless role playing is just anathema to me. I'm like,
Yeah, I know.
No.
I don't.
No.
I
I would rather play a game that had specialty dice that just, like I believe I have not.
It got us something. Yeah, you got to have some kind
Well,
of
like
random.
I think the way the new Star Wars system works is you roll these dice that have a plus or a minus on them, and you either have a 1, a 2, or a 0, I think, and so you either do it or don't do it kind of thing.
Yeah.
If the pluses outweigh the minuses and you have a rank or something, I don't know, but that sounds better to me
Then
than
diceless.
no dice.
Yeah.
I get the point of it, and I can see where it would be fun if you have the right people, but I don't think that it's a very long-term thing. I feel like
Yeah.
the whole draw for me playing these games is to build a story that I'm excited about. Like, I have a character that I've built. I want to see her to he or her to the end. I want her to like grow and become whatever they become. And like the idea of sharing a story with other people is really fun to me. So I can get that, but only if you have the right group of people. Because I mean, Joe, I may not want to share my story with Joe because he's a jackass. He
Yeah.
likes to kill things, including me and all the people that I care about, and I don't want to play with Joe.
Damn you, Joe. That's why you don't play with us anymore. See, you heard it right here. Yeah, I agree. I mean, with Dice's role playing, it's just story time. You know, it's just group story time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah. All right. So, what's been your favorite campaign, Doug? That you ever played in?
Well, first, what are you interested in playing again?
Oh yeah.
Oh, well,
true.
I'm getting ready to run a Starfighter game, so I'm pretty
Okay.
excited
True,
about
yeah.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, Starfinder's made by the same people who make Pathfinder.
Oh, okay.
And it is essentially
D&D in space.
Pathfinder in space. So it uses a modification of the 3.5 system, so it is pretty complicated. But you have a healer class, a wizard class, soldier classes,
Yeah.
rogue type classes.
Yeah.
You've got, extraplanar beings, like to the point where the sun is essentially just the fire realm.
Oh,
You know,
cool.
like
There's
there's
salamander in
salamanders
the 3D.
in a free that live on the sun and stuff
That's
like that.
cool.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Oh.
I want it to be more sci-fi than fantasy.
Sure.
But
I mean, that's sci-fi.
Yeah, I'm
It's
getting into the-
demystifying what the sun is.
Yeah.
I'm getting into the sci-fantasy element a little more because I do want to make it kind of 40K-ish,
Yeah.
where there is,
Sure.
there's the warp and psychers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So people who are, I forget what the class is. That's essentially the priest version, class in this.
The solar.
No, not the
sun
solar.
guys.
Those are
Those are the
I'm going to
Jedi.
essentially make those people like psychers.
Mm.
And it's okay. These are psychic-based powers instead of magical powers,
Sure.
but otherwise it's largely the same concept.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, so I'm looking forward to doing that.
Yeah.
Pretty excited about doing that game. But
I'll tell you what I'm looking
No.
forward to. I'm looking forward to doing a couple one-offs, right? Now you're talking about maybe doing like Supernatural or something like that, or Cthulhu or something like that, or maybe we'll do this one of the bust out that survival game that I got, the zombie
right,
survival game or whatever, where you play yourself,
Yeah.
for like a one night stuff. Because I run 2 campaigns
right,
right
yeah,
now, so
Yeah.
sooner
You're
or
gonna
later
take a
we'll-
break.
it's gonna take a break, and Doug's gonna run
yeah.
Yeah.
the Path or Starfinder one. So
Yeah.
all right, so what was your favorite so far? Your favorite campaign?
Lords of the Veil,
Lords of the Veil, the
Yeah.
D&D.
D&D game,
Nice.
Lords of the Veil. And
What
it's
was your
funny.
favorite part about it?
It was to start. It was just Mike and Chris and I played,
Uh-huh.
and we each started with 2 characters, but then realized we didn't have a healer, so I also played a priest. So we
Oh,
had
okay.
multiple characters each,
Yeah.
and we started off. the
Joel
way
joined later on.
Joel joined for a bit. He didn't stay around very long. Dan
It's not a true Lord
Molinar.
of the Veil. Come on now.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
There was a bunch of people who
Squire
kind
of
of
the
flitted in and then out and weren't constantly there.
Yeah.
But we basically built that world from scratch. I mean, Mike cannibalized it from a lot of different places, but we literally started on a beach having no idea who we were or where we came from.
Yeah.
And just went to one city
And explored the world.
in that expanded
awesome.
area, and then we left that island and
Right.
kind of explored this coast.
That's cool.
Then started moving our way up, and then by the time we were, I don't know, 8th level, we had turned. Had we done that by 8th level? I think it was around by 8th to 10th level. Everybody knew who we were because we had done all kinds of crazy stuff, and I had used a Nahal's Reckless Dwemer to change like a hill into a giant diamond that we sold to a dwarven clan to build us a city. So all kinds of crazy stuff happened in the game that was just, it was awesome.
And then by the end of that campaign, they were basically rulers of a country, right? And so then it was a big worldwide political thing going on, right?
Yeah.
So there was, it went from adventurers washed up on the shore, not knowing who they were, exploring the world, to running one of the major countries,
Right.
and
being like these legendary heroes everybody knew about.
yeah. So that was the one that lasted
Right.
through 3 systems.
Yeah.
So okay, fair enough. Do you have a favorite yet so far in your
Oh,
early role playing career?
Yeah. I played a very heavy homebrew of 3.5. And it was so much fun because we had people who got into character who would do, like, we had a Cockney accent, and we
Nice.
had a guy who loved politics, so he would always, like, wiggle his way into the politics of a city and be able to, like, all right, well, this city's on our side now, so we started wars with other cities, and the gods were a big part of it. So the whole concept was that there were these big pieces, and if you brought them all together, kind of like the Dragon Balls, you could be like, bring about great power. And so we were trying to do that. Ended up finding out if you do that, it summons this colossal creature. I don't remember what it was called, but it was like its whole purpose was to tear apart existence, to eat existence.
Sounds
and
like a Trask.
It was a Trask, yeah.
Nice.
Yep. So we were like, well, maybe we don't want to do that, but then someone found out, and then they like betrayed us. So I ended up we found out that there was a way to do it, and we had planned on sacrificing one of the NPCs that we had befriended, had brought along with this whole journey. It was really sad because we had grown attached to this NPC. And someone ended up killing the NPC before we could sacrifice them, so I sacrificed myself and then became a god myself. And it was
Nice.
I saved the world and became a god, and the legend continues. And it was everything I ever wanted out of a campaign. I was like, I'm done. All right.
Yes.
I have D&D to
Drop
the
the
max
mic.
level.
That's right. Yeah, if you can finish a campaign, that is the best feeling. When it's happy and a little sad at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Where the game just doesn't fall apart because
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
moved away
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yep.
I tell you what, I had the most intricate campaign I ever ran. Ended up like that. Ended up being where we kind of dropped it at the end there.
The Birthright one.
Yeah, Birthright one. It was we used kind of Birthright rules, and everyone started off as rulers of a.
It was a 4th edition game, but it was
Yeah.
we pulled in Birthright.
And Birthright was a 2nd edition campaign world where you were rulers, and the Birthright whole thing was you had certain powers, like power of the gods. The gods are all gone, and so
Yeah.
their powers trickle down.
Yeah.
And it was hereditary, and you got a certain power based on your bloodline.
Oh, okay.
So they had different bloodlines,
Yeah.
right? So that's how we did that, and everyone was like a rulers, but you could be not just a ruler of a city, but like Noel Wren was
A Thieves Guild.
Thieves Guild,
okay.
underground
Yeah.
Thieves Guild,
That's cool.
But you were in charge of an organization right off the bat,
Okay.
right? And then you built up. There was this big political campaign, and it lasted a while. And this was like,
It was based off Dark Tower.
yeah, it was
Largely.
largely it had Dark Tower. Yes, for the main bad guy, the Crimson King, and this whole the threat of him anyway. But yeah, it was great. It was, of course, it was a time that I was actually, I wasn't working at the time. I was like, I just left. I'm like, that was big severance, and I was like, I had like a year, a year off. So I got invested in I had nothing to do. I'm like, plan this awesome campaign, So I had everything always detailed out. The only problem is we talk about doing all the different accents and stuff like that. I do different accents for different NPCs and stuff like that. But then we'd have they did this council meeting where I had to have an argue with myself that one night in a game
As different
In different
NPCs.
in different accents because I had represented two opposing sides of stuff that was going on.
That's
so
funny.
it was a very weird night. But
Yeah.
we did that one.
It is
But yeah, that was a fun campaign. And then we did, but it just kind of we got towards the end. It was almost at the end. It was kind of like the final stuff, and then it kind of we had to put it down for a while while we concentrated on other stuff.
Oh yeah, we were working on some things.
Yeah, it was also rough because we had some players. I don't know if you ever done this, but we did. We had a couple players that were
Remote.
So
I've played on Roll20
mhm,
because we had people that were playing. Like when I was living in Illinois,
yeah,
we had people from here, Arizona, that we were playing with. So I've done it. It's okay. It's an experience.
it's an experience. I missed actually the miniatures and actually having stuff like that. But I mean, we had all these tokens of it. We didn't have Roll20. I found Roll20 later. I think it came out a little bit later.
It's got so much, you can do so much
Oh,
with
yeah.
it, and map revealing and line of sight and everything is
Yeah.
all played out.
If I was gonna do it again, I'd do Roll20.
It's fun. It's just
But,
not the same as being in person. With
Yeah,
someone.
so we sat at a long table. We had a computer screen. I had a screen, and then there was a computer screen out there that they could see,
Yeah.
and then it was just,
Yeah.
everybody else was here, and then those two were remote.
Right.
But yeah, that was pretty much it. That was pretty much one of my favorites to run. So as of right now, I am running 2 games. How many are you playing in?
Right now I'm playing in 2.
Playing in 2.
Mhm.
I'm running 2 right now, soon to be running 1, and playing in Doug's. You're soon to be running 1,
Yep.
but you're playing in 2 right now.
Correct. Yeah.
So, got 2 going. Wow. And we still have a YouTube channel. So,
Yeah.
look at that.
And we're getting ready to start playing
Oh yeah, we jump back
Little
into
Plastic Men.
Yeah.
40K.
That's what Dan's brother calls it, but
Little Plastic Men?
Dave
Yeah.
Wilbur, he's like, yeah, it's you're playing Little Plastic Men?
That's right. I remember one time I just moved out to work for Games Workshop, and we're in Maryland, and I had all my miniatures and like that, and she's like, Heather was getting at me like, you need to clean up your Little Plastic Men. I'm like, these Little Plastic Men bought you all your finery. She would actually stumped her for a minute. She was looking at me like, what? What did you just say? But yeah. My wife actually role played for a bit.
Did you?
Never with me.
Oh.
She refused role play with me, but she was
Probably a good thing.
probably a good thing. Yeah. But I don't know if any of you guys have wives or significant others that role play with you. I know you role play with Armando, but I've never had that experience because she had her own set of friends that she role played with, right? And she got into that. But then I had my games and she had her games,
Right.
and we didn't mix the two because it was like we don't want to have any arguments or favoritism or anything else going
Right.
on. And she's like, I refuse to play with you. So I was like, you want to join this game? She's like, no, I got my own game. But
That's fine.
yeah, but as she moved back here, she didn't really role play anymore. But
Yeah.
she had her own, her miniatures and dice and everything like that. And she won't let me touch her dice. She hasn't role played in years now, but she won't let me use her dice or her stuff. She's like, no, those are mine. Like,
Got her good juju on.
That's right, you gotta sit on a
touch her juju.
so just gonna sit on a shelf. Your dice are awesome. She's like, you got a giant bucket of dice. You're not touching mine. So, and I do. So
Should have had that up here.
I should have. Yeah, it's
Oh,
giant.
yeah.
You guys have seen the giant bucket of dice?
It's not up
No, it's not up there. It's in the game room.
Hmm.
So, all
here.
right,
One of those
guys.
Hanover pretzel.
Yeah, one of those giant Costco Hanover pretzel things filled with dice. Because you can never have too many dice. So it's hard to players showing up. Oh, I forgot my dice. So
Dig in the bucket.
dig in a bucket, the giant bucket of dice. All right, guys. So that's about wraps it up for role playing games. We discussed, what we're playing now, what we played in the past, what we want to play in the future.
Yeah.
Next time we'll get into a little more detail on stuff like that. I know Doug is working on some. Since you're starting this new campaign, aren't you working on some Game Master Diaries?
Yeah, I'm going to try and do Game Master Diaries where I lay out kind of what the deal is.
From the start of a campaign,
Yep.
exactly what your thoughts are and everything like that.
Yeah.
I know I've done the Game Master advice, stuff like that, but it'd be great to have that perspective from building a brand new campaign up.
Yeah.
Everything that is involved in that. So it's really fun. I'm looking forward to it. I'm playing an android mechanic in your Starfinder game. So looking forward to that. All right, guys. Let us know what role-playing games are your favorites. What have you played? What you're looking forward to? What you want to play that you've never played before. Let us know. And let us know if you would like to see us play any of these games, especially our one-off nights. We could definitely film those.
Yeah.
We have filmed the Paranoia game that we played.
Right. Yep.
It's just so long. It's like 8 episodes once we get it all
Yeah.
trimmed out. But
Yeah, it was a long game.
that's a lot of editing
Yeah.
for something. We got all those other videos we're editing now too. So we'll get to it eventually, I promise. So yeah, comment down below what you think. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends. I want to thank you. Well, those of you who are listening on Stitcher and iTunes, you can't like, subscribe, and share with your friends. But if you want to,
You can rate us.
you can rate us. Let us know. If you want to see what we look like, pop on over to YouTube, the Grizzled Geek,
Yep.
YouTube/ the Grizzled Geek, and check us out there. See our lovely faces. Otherwise, thank you for listening to us on your favorite podcast listening apps.
Yep.
And if you want to support the show, you can do so with the links down below, either by buying our merch, shopping for stuff on Amazon through our link, or becoming a patron and supporting us directly, so we can make more videos like this.
Yeah, definitely.
So thank you guys. We'll see you next time.